Your toilet is now sentient. Would you prefer it to passionately, exuberantly crave your excrement, or deeply resent and despise you for what you do to it? Why? I think I'll just use the sink. I'm happy when people love their job. I imagine my toilet passive-aggressively judging and telling me that it's not mad, just disappointed. I'd rather it be consensual. At first I was being super childish and giggling about the concept of a toilet judging you for your dietary choices. Then I thought how brilliant and beneficial it would be if there was a toilet that could analyze your waste and give you health stats / feedback / early warning signs in real time. Removed. It's a sentient toilet. I'm selling it and buying a house with a non-sentient toilet. I have IBS. So I spend a lot of time on the toilet. I keep it very clean though. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Really? Again? That's like the third time in an hour. That scrub-a-dub-dooby scrub-a-doobish though. I vote for the tired impatience of a bureaucrat who is too broken by the system to even resent it. Oh, hey Josh. Thought I'd at least get another few hours. Burritos, Josh? Again this week? It's not good for you, Josh, and it's not good for me either. Truth be told, little's good for me these days. On with the show, I guess. Do your worst. While you're doing your business, there's no gasping of disgust or even exclamations of protest, just a deep, soul-flattening sigh when you finally pull the flush lever. It's clammy to the touch. Now it wasn't that way when you sat down, but you know that Toilette would never complain. This is a being for whom hope holds a similar place in mind as does Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy, comforting fables for children, but things that have no true place in the worlds of humankind. This cruel world can bear no magic, no wonder, no whimsy, only porcelain, excrement, wadded paper, responsibility. You spritz a small puff of air freshener, but Toilette neither thanks you nor complains. He stares at you with his one porcelain eye, the great white bowl your bowels profaned, and he does so unblinkingly, no judgment, no warmth, just a spirit crushed a tiny bit flatter each time you sit down on it. You make to leave. The hands, Joshua, the hands. We've been over this. Right, you say, embarrassed by the chastisement. You wash them idly and try to strike up conversation. Imagine if, while washing my hands, the sink started to moan and scream, "Soap me harder, daddy," right until a spurt of hot water splashed on my face. That'd be pretty wild, right? You ask, laughing and shaking your head. You turn to Toilette to gauge his reaction, and the warm smile you wear fades to lukewarm like the water pooling at the bottom of the sink. His seat isn't rocking with laughter, nor is his water even so much as rippling. Same time tomorrow, Josh, he says, no acknowledgement of your attempt at levity. It was immature, anyways, and now you're left feeling just a little bit awkward. Fortunately, the toilet speaks again, breaking the moment's spell. I'll be here, Josh. Always here, nothing else. Same time tomorrow, you say, nodding and drying your hands. Same time tomorrow. And then you leave him to the stillness of the apartment dark. In such meditative silences, even a fixture might find its mind liable to wander, but Toilette, ever the realist, keeps his imagination on a very short leash. This is the scariest thing I've ever read on Reddit. I'm giving this an upvote simply because it is the most WTF question I've seen on here. Serious women of Reddit, what uncommon red flags in women should men be on the lookout for? She's always the victim in her stories, never the villain or the one who fucks something up. This post is 1 hour old and I've already seen 6 red flags that my GF does shit. Always deflecting the blame when you confront her about any sort of issue, no matter if directly caused by her or not. Side note. My friend currently is allowed 2 days, up till like 8 p.m, where he can have personal time by his GFS allocation. Is that weird to anyone else? Edit, thanks for the feedback and love folks. It's actually my birthday. If she makes fun of your biggest insecurities in front of other people for a laugh. Slowly removing friends and family while making it seem as if it's in your best interests. Also not wanting to admit faults or have excuses for their behaviors. Major red flag that you might be dealing with narcissism. Exaggerated self-importance, excessive admiration for themselves, might seem like positive aspects to have, but are really major red flags. If it starts feeling like your relationship revolves around their happiness, run. If she always plays the victim to get her way, very manipulative. If a woman takes pride in manipulation, run. I had a friend who would brag to me about being able to control people and situations with ease. She was a nightmare. Never admitted to anything she did wrong, thought she was better than everyone, and whenever she was called out on any of the behaviors she would turn around and blame it on mental health, trauma. Wah! Pity me. I'm the victim. Like no one ever saw through her bullshit as her trying to manipulate the situation. Edit. I'm glad most of you guys got out of relationships with women like this. If you are currently having to deal with people like this who take pride in their manipulation of you and others, I truthfully wish you the best, happy face, and please believe that you deserve better than being played, manipulated, taken advantage of, made to doubt yourself. Whatever you want to call it. Trying to change you and mocking your hobbies/friends. Unless you have no personal hygiene and your friends are criminals, they should be accepting of you, not who they want you to be. Reading these makes me feel a bit better about a decision I recently made. If she puts you down around others as a joke, shows total disrespect and the need to look good at the expense of hurting others. Testing, playing games. That's manipulation. Edit. I meant mind games, like if you really loved me, you'd do this and this for me, and such. Romanticizing being a psycho. It's not cute, it's a massive red flag. If she's trying to stir up drama just so the relationship can be fun. I saw this with a former friend. Spicing things up as a couple is all good. But if she's stirring up the pot by letting other guys flirt with her just so you can play jealous boyfriend so you can rescue her from a situation she started as if it's some movie or something, stay away from her. If she tries to physically injure you when you get her Starbucks order wrong. Serious men of Reddit, what uncommon red flags in men should women be on the lookout for? If you have to defend him with a phrase like "oh, but when he's just with me, it's different," or "but you don't see him when he is nice." Who he is when he's at his worst is still the guy you're dating, gone if all your friends see or hear about is the worst. It's not something they aren't seeing, it's something you aren't recognizing. If he's getting out of a relationship while trying to start one with you, you will never be sure when he begins one with someone else while still in one with you. Just putting this out there, the usual red flags are so consistent you can set your watch to them. A good yardstick is to look at your relationship from the outside. If your sister/best friend/mother's boyfriend did X to her, would you be concerned? Self-awareness is important because sometimes you're too close to the situation to see it objectively. This goes for all genders really, but anyone who thinks they have the right to punish you for perceived wrongdoings is a waste of time. That's not how equals resolve issues. Answer: initially. A failure to listen during conversation and subsequent failure to ask you about anything important to you. Someone who can't accept your accomplishments. Don't be with someone who feels the need to compete with you or can't accept that you've accomplished your goals. My wife is a doctor, I'm a fucking idiot. I asked her what made her want to marry me. She said, "You took time to praise my accomplishments and made me feel important all while struggling yourself." Edit. I've never had this many upvotes before. I can't thank everyone enough. Disrespect disguised as jokes. Comedy can be a little hurtful, but an obvious insult followed by "I was just joking" is a coward's method to avoid confrontation. If his last girlfriend tries to earnestly warn you, she may actually be warning you. I wouldn't call it a red flag per se, but it's a thing I'm noticing more and more. 100%, if you are feeling unwanted and unloved, and are thinking about breaking up, and then you try to bring it up and all of a sudden he starts being everything you wanted, to only go back to being distant and cold. You have yourself a love bomber. It's awful. The amount of people who fall for this is sad. Cause some people just get caught in this vicious cycle not knowing it's even happening. Very nice to you but not others, has a problem with you going out or hanging out with friends. If he has to be with you every time you do etc. run. When I worked at KFC, there was a girl whose boyfriend would stay parked outside the door during her entire shift. That is not something I've seen commonly and it's a huge red flag. Lying for your approval. Had a couple sit down at my restaurant and the guy kept loudly insisting that he would give extra tips while in front of his date. He said it again when he went up to the cashier to pay via Apple Pay. Forgot to sign the receipt until we told him to. Guy proceeded to rush out the restaurant with his date yelling back about how much tip he so generously gave. For an almost $60 dinner, the guy gave $2 in tip. I feel bad for his date. Edit, spelling. Be careful of men who blame every failed relationship on the ex. Not only will you be the next bad story, but he likely doesn't have accountability. Low Uber passenger ratings. Removed.